Florida is not exactly emptying out, but there are neighborhoods and suburbs across this state where people are quietly packing up and leaving. And it almost always shows up the same way. Listings start sitting longer, sellers start cutting prices just to get attention, and buyers start realizing the trade-offs of living in that part of the state just are not worth it anymore. And when you look at what the Census Bureau, Redfin, and Zillow are all reporting right now in 2026, the map is shifting. Certain Florida suburbs that were magnets just 2 or 3 years ago are now watching residents walk out the door. So in this video, we are breaking down the specific Florida neighborhoods where people are actually leaving, the data behind each one, where those people are moving instead, and what it means if you are buying or selling in Florida right now. Let us get into it. But before we do, it is important to understand why this is happening in the first place. Because this is not random. There are 3 forces working together right now that are reshaping where people choose to live in Florida. The first one is the affordability ceiling. The total monthly carrying cost for a median Florida home has nearly doubled since 2021. According to recent analysis, a household now needs roughly $117,000 in annual income just to qualify for a typical Florida mortgage at a 30% debt-to-income ratio. Florida's median household income is approximately $72,000. That math just does not work for a growing number of families. The second force is insurance. Florida has the most expensive homeowners insurance in the country. The statewide average runs anywhere from $5,500 to over $11,000 a year, depending on the county and how close you are to the coast. That is roughly 3 times the national average. And in some coastal zip codes, premiums are pushing past $15,000 a year. That is not a mortgage payment. That is just the insurance. And the third force is the migration slowdown. For years, Florida was the #1 destination in the country for domestic movers. That is no longer the case. United Van Lines now classifies Florida as balanced, meaning roughly equal numbers of people are moving in and out. That is a first in recent memory. And when fewer people are moving in, the suburbs that were absorbing all of that demand are the first to feel it. So now that you understand the forces underneath, let us talk about the specific Florida suburbs and neighborhoods that are actually feeling this shift right now. The first area is Pinellas County, and this one is significant. According to the most recent Census Bureau data, Pinellas County lost approximately 12,000 residents between July 2024 and July 2025. That is the second largest population decline of any county in the entire United States, behind only Los Angeles County. And for a Florida county, that number is staggering. Now, Hurricanes Helene and Milton absolutely played a role. Both storms hit the Tampa Bay region hard in late 2024, and Pinellas took direct damage. Some residents left because their homes were damaged. Others left because their insurance either did not cover enough or was dropped entirely. And a meaningful number who evacuated simply decided not to come back. They looked at the rebuilding costs, the insurance renewal, and the risk of it happening again, and they made the call to leave. But it was not just the hurricanes. Even before the storms, Pinellas was hitting an affordability wall. This is one of the most densely populated counties in Florida, and the median home prices along the beaches and waterfront communities had pushed well past what working families could sustain with today's interest rates. Add in insurance premiums that can run $8,000 to $12,000 a year along the coast, and the monthly payment becomes something a lot of households just cannot justify anymore. Some of these residents moved to nearby Pasco and Polk counties, which ranked among the top 5 domestic migration destinations in the entire country. Others left the state entirely. The next area showing clear signs of this shift is Miami-Dade County, and the numbers here tell a really striking story. Miami-Dade experienced the 3rd largest population decline among all United States counties in 2025, losing over 10,000 residents in a single year according to census data. But the domestic migration number is even more dramatic. More than 72,000 people moved out of Miami-Dade on a net domestic basis, meaning more Americans left the county than moved in by a wide margin. And here is the part that makes this so unusual. At the same time regular families are leaving, billionaires and tech executives are moving in. Miami has attracted the Google co-founders, former Starbucks leadership, and major hedge fund operators. But that influx of ultra-wealthy buyers has not replaced the working and middle-class families who are leaving. The traffic, The lack of public transit and the overall cost of daily life are pushing families toward more affordable parts of the state or out of Florida altogether. If you have been following this channel, you know that the Florida condo market is going through something unprecedented right now. And nowhere is that more visible than in the South Florida high-rise corridors, places like Hallandale Beach, Sunny Isles, and Hollywood. These condo-heavy communities are being hit by a force that most buyers never saw coming, and it all traces back to one law. After the Surfside condo collapse in 2021 that killed 98 people, Florida passed Senate Bill 4D, requiring aging condo buildings to undergo structural inspections and fully fund their reserves. The intention was the right one: make buildings safer, but the financial impact has been enormous. 40% of Florida condo owners have faced special assessments in the last 3 years. Some buildings have been assessed anywhere from $50,000 to over $400,000 per unit. Monthly HOA fees in Miami-Dade high-rises jumped nearly $500 per month in 2025 alone. And here is the part that makes it even harder. If a building has not completed its inspections or does not have adequate reserves, lenders will not issue mortgages for units in that building. That means the only buyers left are cash buyers, and they are negotiating hard. Statewide, condo inventory has climbed to over 13 months of supply, and prices are down more than 6% year over year. Some of these buildings are becoming effectively unmarketable. If you are finding this useful so far, take a second and subscribe. We break down the real numbers behind Florida's housing market every single week, so you can make smarter decisions whether you are buying, selling, or just trying to understand what is happening in your neighborhood. Moving inland in Southwest Florida, Lehigh Acres is another suburb showing clear signs of a shift. This is a massive community in Lee County, east of Fort Myers, with a population of over 136,000 people. It grew fast during the pandemic because it offered some of the most affordable homes in the region, but the trade-offs are starting to catch up. According to Redfin, the median sale price in Lehigh Acres is down 3.5% year over year, and homes are now sitting on the market for an average of 90 days, up from 72 days the year before. And here is a data point that really stands out. 43% of Lehigh Acres homebuyers on Redfin were searching to move out of the area. That is nearly half the buyer pool actively looking to leave. The core issue is location. Lehigh Acres is inland. There is no central downtown. The commute to Fort Myers job centers can run 30 to 45 minutes depending on traffic, and while the homes are newer and more affordable, the infrastructure, the dining, the shopping, and the daily convenience that people want, it just is not there yet. For a lot of families who moved here during the boom, the savings on the mortgage stopped feeling worth the daily grind of the commute and the isolation. The ones who are leaving are often heading to more established parts of Lee County, or north, towards Charlotte and Sarasota counties. One of the more surprising entries on this list is the Villages. For years, this was the gold standard of Florida retirement living. America's largest active adult community, golf carts everywhere, hundreds of amenities, and a reputation for being the place retirees dreamed about. But the market data is telling a different story in 2026. According to House Canary data, the Wildwood Villages metro area saw home prices decline 4% year over year through the first quarter of 2026. Zillow's data shows the average home value in the Villages down 2.8% over the past year. And 34.5% of listings in the area had price cuts, one of the highest rates in the region. The Reventure app gave the Villages Metro a home price forecast score of just 28 out of 100, which puts it firmly in declining market territory. What is happening here is partly demographic. A lot of the original homeowners who bought into the Villages during the early expansion are now aging out of their homes. Some are downsizing, others are moving closer to family or into assisted living. And the buyers who would normally replace them are finding that prices, while lower than coastal Florida, are still elevated compared to what you get for the money. At $350,000 to $400,000 for a home in the Villages, some retirees are doing the math and choosing communities further north in places like Marion County, or even out of state entirely, where their dollar stretches further. And the last pattern playing out across multiple Florida suburbs is new construction pressure. This is not one specific neighborhood. It is a structural shift affecting dozens of communities. Builders have been offering aggressive incentives, rate buydowns, closing cost credits, and outright price cuts. According to recent data, 2/3 of Florida builders are offering rate buydowns, bringing effective new construction rates down to around 5.27% versus 6% or higher for existing homes, and roughly 40% of builders have cut prices. Think about it from a buyer's perspective. If you can get a brand new home with a lower interest rate, a builder warranty, and closing cost help, why would you buy a 10-year-old resale home at the same price with none of those incentives? That math is playing out right now across suburbs in Osceola County, Outer Pasco, parts of Polk County, and throughout the Interstate 4 corridor. And the result is that resale homeowners in these areas are stuck. They are competing against brand new homes on their own street and losing. So if people are leaving these neighborhoods and suburbs, the obvious question is, where are they going? The answer depends on who is moving. The first group is staying inside Florida, but shifting to different parts of the state. And the data shows exactly where they are heading. Ocala and Marion County saw the highest percentage population increase of any metro area in the entire country in the most recent census data. St. Johns County, south of Jacksonville, grew at 3.9%. Lakeland and Winter Haven in Polk County ranked among the top 10 domestic migration destinations nationally. And Pasco County, north of Tampa, is absorbing a huge share of the people leaving Pinellas and Hillsborough counties. What all of these places have in common is a better value equation. Newer homes, lower insurance costs because they are further inland, and a daily cost of living that actually lines up with what a Florida household earns. People are not abandoning the Florida lifestyle. They are just finding it in a different zip code. The second group is leaving Florida entirely. Retirees who cashed out of high-equity homes are moving to states like North Carolina, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, where their money stretches further and the insurance situation is less volatile. Census data shows that South Carolina is now the fastest-growing state in the country at 1.5%, and a meaningful share of that growth is coming from former Floridians. So what does all of this mean if you are buying or selling in Florida right now? If you are a buyer, your leverage is back in specific segments. In the pockets where prices are down year over year and days on market are climbing, you have more negotiating power on price, concessions, and timing. But the biggest mistake buyers are making right now is assuming all of Florida is one market. It is not. One neighborhood can be up 3% year over year, while a neighborhood 5 miles away is down 5%. And in softer segments, the best wins are often on terms, not just price. Seller credits, closing cost assistance, rate buy-down help. Negotiate the full package. If you are a seller, pricing wrong right now costs you more than it ever has. When buyers have more choices, overpricing does not just slow you down, it makes your listing look like the weaker option. Florida's median days on market statewide is now 84 days. Your first price matters more, not less. And if you are competing against new construction, buyers are comparing your 10 or 15-year-old home against a brand new one with incentives. Condition, presentation, and realistic pricing are the only way to stand out. Here is the bottom line. Florida is not falling apart, but it is shifting. The suburbs and neighborhoods that boomed the hardest between 2020 and 2022 are now the ones cooling the fastest. And the people who lived through that boom are making different choices about where their money goes and where their daily life makes the most sense. If you are the kind of person who wants the real numbers behind what is happening in Florida's housing market, not the headlines, but the actual data, hit that subscribe button. We put out videos like this every single week. Drop a comment with the Florida neighborhood you are watching right now, whether you own or you are planning a move, and tell me which area on this list surprised you the most. I read every single one of those. We will see you in the next one.